Hey up everyone, we have some breaking news because Islam Makhachev is no longer taking on Arman in the rematch for tomorrow's pay-per-view UFC 311. Instead, we're having Islam Makhachev take on Moicano. And if you're absolutely bamboozled to why this is happening, simply put it, Arman has had to pull out of his fight against Islam Makhachev. It's been revealed that during the weight cutting last night, he picked up a back injury and was deemed not fit to fight. So then the UFC had to make a decision who can fight Islam Makhachev, and they decided to give that opportunity to Moicano. Now obviously Moicano was scheduled to take on Beneil Dariush on the main card of this pay-per-view. So what's going to happen now for Beneil Dariush? Well, unfortunately for Beneil, he will no longer be fighting on this card. And I'm just hoping that he gets compensated quite well for it. You know, he was going to get a payday against Moicano, win or lose. He was going to get paid. And now that he won't be fighting Moicano on the card, I hope that the UFC have gave him some money for it at the very least. As it would just be very harsh if he wasn't compensated for it. He did a training camp. He flew his entire team out. He cut weight for this fight. So it's only right that he gets paid, considering now he doesn't have a fight. And if he's to get matched up next, maybe someone, to be fair, I'm just throwing it out there, I wouldn't be surprised if they made Paddy Pimblett versus Beneil Dariush. I wouldn't be surprised if that now happens. But regardless, I just hope that Beneil Dariush gets paid for no longer fighting on the card, because let's be honest, we haven't seen him since late 2023. He had an entire year out, and then was like, you know what, start of 2025, I'm going to come back. And then Moicano gets, his opponent pulls out as Moicano is now going to be fighting Islam Makhachev instead. I feel like there's a load of things to talk about, but let's just talk about the new main event. Islam Makhachev, Renato Moicano. Could you imagine the scenes if Moicano is able to defeat Islam Makhachev? I don't think it'll happen, but if that happens, it'll be one of my favourite moments in MMA history. Moicano had a bit of an up and down yo-yo career, he was a prospect at one point, and then he started losing a few, like to Fiziev, to RDA, and now he's been on this nice run in 2024, and then he was able to win the lightweight championship. Oh my days, on short notice as well. It'll be incredible. It's actually giving me the vibes of when, I think it was when Khabib was meant to fight Tony. Did Tony pull out on 24 hours notice and stepped Ali Aquinta? I remember Khabib was meant to fight someone, and then Ali Aquinta stepped in on like 24 hours notice. It gives me those vibes. I'm just hoping that the outcome's a bit different compared to Ali Aquinta and Khabib. But regardless, I just don't see Moicano winning this, unfortunately. I know Islam Makhachev's a big favourite. Obviously, he's going to be the favourite. It's going to be a very tough fight for Moicano. I don't know how he wins this. I don't think he does win it, but if he does win it, oh my god, it will be one of the greatest moments in MMA history. And even if Moicano does lose this fight, he hasn't really lost. Let's be honest, yeah, he'll get an extra loss on his record, but I mean, I feel like his stock has only risen from taking this on short notice. I mean, Ali Aquinta's stock rose because of it. There's loads of memes coming out about Ali Aquinta being a bad man and all this. So, his stock will only rise, and if he wins, his stock will only rise even more. But let's talk about if he loses. I don't think the UFC will hold it against him if he loses. He stepped in and done them a favour. He's done them a solid. So I feel like he'll be awarded in some sort of way. Maybe if you give him a big fight, if he loses to Islam Makhachev, and we don't drop his ranking too much, or something along the lines of that. And he's going to get paid, I'd imagine, quite handsomely. He steps in on short notice to save the pay-per-view, really. Don't get me wrong, it was already a stacked pay-per-view, and Umar and Merab still would have been a good main event, but Islam Makhachev is a star, really, a star in MMA. Maybe he's not a big pay-per-view seller, but he's definitely going to help the pay-per-view rather than hinder it. So I feel like they would have paid Moicano quite well for stepping in on short notice and taking this, championship fight on just a 24 hours notice. But I'm just hoping that, Moicano is getting paid a very good chunk amount. I'm just hoping they haven't just said, oh, well, we don't... I'm just hoping we don't give him barely anything, and we're just like, oh, we may not be paying you more, but you're getting a chance at Championship Road. No, I hope you pay him a good, healthy amount. Now, what happens when Arman comes back? Does he get a title shot again? Like, how's it going to go for him? I'm not entirely sure. I feel like the UFC, especially, I don't know if Arman's just deemed himself not fit to fight. If maybe it'll be a bit different if like a doctor had gone over him and be like, no, we cannot fight. Maybe it'll be a bit different. But if Arman's just like, oh no, I can't fight because of this injury, maybe the UFC will hold that against him, and maybe he'll have to pick up another victory in order to get a crack at the title. But the poor thing for Arman, if he has to get another win and then get a crack at the title, well then maybe he doesn't get that rematch and that revenge against Islam Makhachev, because maybe Islam Makhachev, maybe he moved up to the welterweight division by the time Arman can come back, and we don't know the extent of his injury, we don't know how bad it is yet, we don't know what the crack is, but yeah, I'm just interested to see what they do with Arman now that he's pulled out of this fight on such short notice. And I have seen a few people moan that Moicano's got the chance to take on Islam Makhachev. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I wanted Charles to get it. Oh, I wanted Charles Oliveira to get it. I understand it because I'm a Charles Oliveira fan. I understand why people would want that. It's more mouth-watering. You know, on paper, Charles is a harder fight. But have we not learned from the Volkanovski rematch? You know, Charles Oliveira pretty much just has one more opportunity against Islam Makhachev, you know? So, it'll be like Volk had a close fight against Islam Makhachev, took a short notice fight against Islam Makhachev, and paid the price and got knocked out, you know? And now the chances of him ever getting a third fight of Islam Makhachev are pretty much, I'm going to say impossible. So if Charles had took this on 24 hours notice, wouldn't come in the best of shapes. I'm sure he still keeps in shape, but maybe not in the best of shapes. And, you know, wouldn't have had a training camp for the style of someone like Islam Makhachev, who beat him with pretty much ease in the first fight. I don't know, that really would have fucked over Charles, and we maybe wouldn't have seen him have another crack at gold at lightweight, or even a crack at Islam Makhachev again. So I understand why people would want it, but we've got to learn our lesson from the Volkanovski rematch, and I don't think it would have been the right move to give it Charles Oliveira. I really don't think that would have been the best case scenario. But yeah, crazy times being a UFC fan, an MMA fan, just absolutely bonkers, just all in the span of about what, 45 minutes, maybe just under an hour, all of this happening. So crazy times. What do you guys think of the new main event between Islam Makhachev and Moicano? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.